Okay, let's jump right in. You know that feeling, right? You have this super detailed, long conversation with an AI, you get everything just right, you close the window, and poof, it's all gone. All that context just vanished. But what if it didn't have to be that way? What if every single conversation you had wasn't a dead end, but a building block? What if you could literally build a knowledge system, a real memory, just by talking? That's what we're digging into today. A whole new way to think about AI, where every single word builds something that lasts. And this brings us to what the source material basically calls the AI goldfish problem. It's that constant nagging frustration of having to start over every single time, re-explaining, restating the context that just disappears. It is without a doubt one of the biggest headaches holding us back from really using these tools to their full potential. So let me ask you this. Does your AI have amnesia? Because it sure feels like it sometimes. You spend all this time and energy getting it up to speed on a really complex project, and the next day, it's a total blank slate. It's like you're pouring all your best work into a leaky bucket. But what if we could actually plug that leak? Well, the approach we're looking at today promises to do exactly that. Now this slide really gets to the heart of the shift. On the left, you've got what we're all used to, the typical AI chat. It's disposable. User asks, AI responds, and the context dies the second you're done. But on the right, that's a whole new paradigm, dialogue as architecture. The idea here is that every single exchange, even the mistakes and the frustrating parts, becomes a permanent piece of the structure. Nothing is lost. That's the core idea we're going to unpack. And this leads us to, honestly, the most mind-bending part of this whole explainer. It's a complete reframing of how we see ourselves in this equation. This isn't just about you using some tool. No, it's something way more integrated, way more powerful. Just let that sink in for a second. We're not using the system. We are the system. This isn't you on one side and the machine on the other. It's a partnership, a symbiotic relationship where your real-world knowledge and the AI's ability to process it all merge into a single, constantly evolving system. And this table just breaks it down perfectly. You've got three core parts. First, there's the human. That's you. You bring the messy, real-world, I've been working on this for 527 days kind of experience. Then you have the AI, which is great at providing structured output and analysis. And finally, the glue holding it all together, the process tools. These are just the simple methods we use to turn our conversations into something the system can actually search and remember. So, how in the world do you actually build this so-called architecture? The cool part is it's not about writing a bunch of code or designing some complicated database. It's all about the process of the conversation itself. The simple act of talking is what creates the structure. All right, check out this feedback loop. This is where the magic happens. It all starts with you, the human, struggling with some problem. Then the AI responds. And get this, it doesn't even have to be a good response. The crucial part is step 3. The entire back and forth gets documented. It's captured. And just like that, that conversation becomes a permanent, queryable source. It's now part of the institutional memory. Your breakdown literally becomes a breakthrough. And that's the bottom line, isn't it? You stop losing work. All those clarifications, those corrections, all those moments where you're thinking, wait, that's not what I meant. They're not wasted time anymore. Every single one is a brick being laid in the foundation of your own personal knowledge system. You're always, always building. Okay, so this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? Well, it turns out you just need a few simple but really powerful techniques. Think of it like a toolkit for building a bridge from your brain to the AI's. First up, XML tags. And please, don't let the name scare you off. All this is simple, clear labels. You just wrap different parts of your prompt in little tags, like instructions or data. You're not coding, you're just giving the conversation a skeleton so the AI can instantly see, oh, okay, this is the data and this is what I'm supposed to do with it. It just creates instant clarity. Okay, this second tool is a total game changer, especially if you have trouble with focus. It's called pre-fill the response. So instead of asking some big open-ended question and getting a novel back, you actually give the AI the first few words of the answer you want. You force it to skip what the source hilariously calls the verbal diarrhea and get straight to the point. It's brilliant. Now let's bring this all back down to earth. We are not talking about building some massive, scary, enterprise-level platform from scratch. The whole idea here is to start small. You're just building one plank of the bridge at a time. And this quote just says it all. Forget this huge idea of building a platform. Just focus on building one small thing you actually need, like a simple checklist for a complicated task, but a checklist that is basically indestructible, one that survives the AI's amnesia. So let's look at this real-world example from the source material, a child support audit. Instead of just vaguely talking about it, you start creating these simple structured files. You use a JSON file, which is just a fancy name for a text file with organized data to track the key facts. Then you have a simple text file for all your random notes. And look at that third point. This is key. You write prompts that tell the AI to check your work, not just give you suggestions. And of course, you use those XML tags we talked about to keep the court data separate from your instructions. Each one of these is one simple, solid plank in the bridge you're building. And when you put all of these pieces together, the big idea and the simple tools, you end up with something pretty profound. You create a system where all your effort adds up, where your knowledge actually sticks around, a system where finally nothing gets lost. You know, what's really fascinating is what comes out of this collaboration. It's not just one voice anymore. Suddenly, there are three. There's your voice, the human, with all your lived experience, refusing to get lost in the shuffle. Then there's the AI's voice, learning and structuring everything. And then you get our voice, a new, synthesized intelligence that's greater than the sum of its parts, something neither of you could have created alone. And really, that's the ultimate goal. A system that you and the AI build together, not in one big go, but slowly, conversation by conversation, creating this shared permanent memory where absolutely nothing is ever lost again. So I'll leave you with this question. Just for a minute, forget all the limitations you're used to. If every single chat, every prompt, every correction was a permanent building block, if your conversations actually had a memory, what could you build?